on matters of Leseru Tebeson Farmer Society and the Department of Defense land situated in northwest part of Eldoret, that is Maili Tisa. On 17th July 2023, the Society via a court injunction joined the ongoing ADR talks at the Department of Defense headquarters, where upon our inclusion to the negotiations, the chairman of the panel, the CS DOD, Honorable Aden Duale, instructed that all parties agree to a win-win solution. At the NLC, the ADR talks manifested in a preliminary consent briefly discussed at the DOD. The General Committee, which constituted representatives from Department of Defense, the NLC, the area leadership, the society and Giblombe farms came up with a consent that ensured the society was set to secede 1,650 acres to the Department of Defense in order for the DOD to settle its case with Giblombe Farms number 78. The remainder of the acreage was to remain as Leseru Tebeson Farmer Society. During the talks, the county government, through the governor, showed interest of having at least 150 to 500 acres. This was, however, not captured in the consent as they were not parties to the court proceedings of Petition 7 of 2019. The society in general had no qualms of finding a solution to this request, but wanted the implementation of the consent. Later of the executive committee met with the representatives of the society on here in the society was still upbeat on the direction for the date of the consent signing. However, to our surprise, since September 2023, till date, no communication as to the status of the consent has been availed. To our dismay, on January 8, 2024, the President spoke directly to this matter, specifically cautioning me about it. From what we could conclude that the cartels that scattered the implementation of the consent convinced His Excellency the President that we were a problem to the talks rather than the solutions. Those were the cartels that have been surrounding the head of state. This has been disheartening, especially to hundreds of members who have been agonizingly awaiting the completion of this process. To His Excellency the President, we plead that hear us out. Your Excellency, we are your subjects. We are Kenyans. Hatuna nchi ingine ya kwenda. We are your people. Even if we voted differently, we are still Kenyans and we support the government of the day. That the society as of current has a status quo on the parcel stroke 3 and 4 and also titles registered under its name. In lieu of the status quo, the DOD has no land to surrender to Giblombe Farms, and that rather it is Leseru who can only do so. The Giblombe 9 farms only occupy stroke R 27206 stroke R, which is still for the DOD. It is not for Giblombe Farms. That is why they have High Court case number 78. We have no problem with Giblombe. The court ruling on application number 3 of 2020 clearly elaborated that the society followed the due process in acquisition of the parcels by using the Land Act of 2012, where it gives how you can acquire land. Even the Constitution gives a citizen access to land. The letters from the Ministry of Lands and LLC support these claims. The Leseru and members of 9 Giblombe farms, especially Kamagut farm, have no problems with us. We are waiting for the consent. The society has no problem finding a solution to the implementation of expansion of Eldoret town into its parcels 27206/3, so long as they are paid for and due process by the government is taken. How this can be done through compulsory acquisition process or any other agreeable form between the society and the government. Even the county government or the whole system of government can get /3, /4, part of /4 by following the due process. That the society has no problem with quotas on /3, as some of them are our members. Those in DOD, His Excellency had said to stay where they are. That is Kamagut group, about 127 people, families. I think the president knows because he's the owner, he's the commander-in-chief of the other part. He can settle those to 127. The Kamagut group, I have their names. Our member, some of them are our members, while those not adopted by the society in conjunction with the government will implement the process, Your Excellency. We call to an end to all forms of injustice. For instance, the ongoing illegal plowing at the farm by Department of Defense in the contravention of a court order, status quo, and even at gunpoint. I've been going around the farm. There are 2 armed askaris. I hope they are ready to shoot, because the other day some children were killed. They were shot. The other ones were beaten with blunt objects. No government security agency has gone to investigate, even IPOA, even the DCI, even other arms of government on security. Nothing. Everything is quiet. Bwana Dwale. These are Nandis. They have nothing. The land was theirs during that time when Europeans had not come. We also call to an end to all killings that were committed by the DOD as some of our members of those of Giblombe farms. Finally, to Mheshimiwa CS of Defense, to be more truthful. At this time of Holy Ramadan, whereby all Muslims may go to Mecca, please stand against misleading cartels who want to offer a solution which if implemented, is constitutional and costly to the government as to the tune of 46.8 billion Kenyan shillings and more. That in reality, we are aware that the rank and file at the DOD have no interest on our parcels. Rather, it is the cartels. They are the cartels, Bwana Excellency. They are misleading the whole government. They are trying to run the whole government. We chose one head of state, and that is William Samoei Ruto, not a cartel moving around State House and beginning sending and even extorting money from members of the public that they will take them to State House. Please sit in State House. Kwa hiyo kiti ulipatiwa na raia. Amua ukweli. Wachana hii watu. Your Excellency, in my capacity as the chairman, and for the sake of our long shared history, in 1979, we were together doing mambo ya census. I don't know when shall we do the next one. We did the job together in Turbo. I signed your papers with no problem. First of all, at Jemuso Primary School, ulikuwa kikaa kwa Mama Rael, yabaga maina kuogwi, no baga maina in Sengengung. Kugyo nitinis? Nilikuwa nimeenda short kidogo, short wave yetu, unajua Magwire boror kwen, kwa waja niije kwa Kiswahili. Miaka zile nilikuwa headmaster Jemuswa, nilikufundisha kwa muda fulani, alafu ukaenda Moiben, somewhere in Sirikwa, alafu ukaja hatu kukutana, mpaka tukakutana wakati principal Bwana Rateng alikuwa deputy headmaster yako Kapsabet Boys, na tukakupatia kazi. Nilikuwa chairman ya kuandika walimu UTs at Moi Sirkoi High School. Tukaombea we nyumba ya mama Elizabeth, ukakaa hapo mpaka ukaenda university. Hatujakutana, sijui kwa nini. Ukawa busy na siasa, nikawa kwa classroom, mpaka wakati nilikuja kwako when you were deputy, ukakubaliana na sisi na Mheshimiwa Kapseret, wakina Kamagut na wengine, ukasema kwenda fanya hii kazi na kukawanya shamba. Mpaka leo hatujaonana. Your Excellency, Your Excellency, yangu tu ni kusema naomba kwa unyenyekevu tukutane na wewe na kamati yangu, tusuluhishe hii maneno, hata sisi tupate kitu kidogo, wengine wapate kidogo. Wakati gani tutaenjoy wewe? Tunaona sasa miaka inafika 10, unaenda nyumbani kufanya kazi ingine. Tutakula nani? Tutakula nani? Lazima hii ni wakati sasa ya mkubwa yetu. Hata kama tukitofautiana, watoto wa nyumba moja wanakula pamoja kwa meza, hata kama wakipigana. Naomba Your Excellency, tuachane na mambo ya cartels na wanasiasa wengine. Tukutane pamoja, tusuluhishe maneno ya hii watu. Hata hii askari unaweka hapo kwa barabara imeleta aibu, watu wanaona, wanaenda upande wa kule chini, wanaona mbaya. Yes. 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 Okay. Aya, mtukufu Rais, jina langu naitwa Wilson to Chepsilonge, ni family name. Sisi originality wetu ni Masai, na babu zangu zilikuwa zikifanya kazi kwa wazungu mpaka 1945 wakaenda Nandi bali naitwa Tebeson. Ningetaka kuanza hivi, Your Excellency. Hii mashamba yote ilienda na wazungu ilikuwa sababu zetu. Haikuwa na title. Mpaka the colonial government wakaingia 1904, Sir Charles Elliot na wengine. So hii shamba nasungumuza ni 27206/3 na /4. /3 iko na acreage 1750. /4 ni 814 hectares, yani eka 1000 na 2000 na yeah, 1814 hectares anyway. You can multiply by 4 times 7 and so on. Sasa hii shamba tulipata na allotment. Wewe si mgeni kwa hii shamba. Hii tukalipa 13,585,000. Ya pili ni 11,826,215. We paid to the government, and the receipts are there in 2006. Yes, there was a process. Kulikuwa kuna taratibu ya kawaida according to law 2012. So kila kitu ilienda mzuri, allotment, payments, surveying matters until 2018. Titling ikaja 2018 February ama March. February ndio moto ikaanza, watu wakastuka. Hii society wamepata shamba na hii titles wamepata. Watu wanasiasa hapa Uasin Gishu, siwezi kusema majina, wanajijua, wakashambulia sisi. Wakapata mama moja NLC inaitwa Abigail Mbagaya. Yani hii titles wanasema hatukupata kwa njia ya haki, na tulipata kwa njia ya haki kwa sababu katika ministry huwezi kupatiwa namba naitwa IR number 194560. Hiyo ni kama ID, ni kama kibande ya title. Na hii title zetu, Wana Excellency, iko kwa system. Tukaenda NLC, chairman Swazuri akasema kulikuwa kuna restriction, yani hapo ni pahali ambayo wezi enda. Tukapeleka hii maneno kotini, badala ya kufanya kukatakata shamba watu waingie, watu wanasiasa hapa wakalete siasa kubwa sana. Tulikutana na hao NLC, waka insight watu, uwa Chepsilonge, fanya nini kwa Chepsilonge. Lakini Mungu ni mwema. Nashukuru Mungu. Nashukuru hata wachumbe ya Nandi walizungumza juu ya mashamba ya Wanandi juzi. mpaka moja ya Moiben naitwa Parto Professor peke yake kwa Uasin Gishu hii. Hakuna mtu alizungumza injustices hapa. Your Excellency, mimi nakuomba kwa heshima kubwa unikumbuke kwa nyumba yako. Ako chepyoset ng'ung kikiboe kapi mamenyu. Yes.
Labda wacha kijana kidogo atuexplain pia alafu turudi kwako.
Intermix. Okay. South, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, I am a third generation following this land, and it has been a long process since our parents joined it. I represent a lot of the youths in this society, and we are really looking forward to finalizing it. But first, to explain the history. This society was formed in the year 2006, and the goal of the society was to acquire the land. And the society did acquire the land in the year 2006 via allotment letters, and there are even letters from the Ministry of Lands and NLC showing that process. There are receipts which were also are an indication of the fact that they were paid for in the year 2006. Now, after the year 2006, there were numerous letters from the Ministry of Defense, from the Ministry of Interior to the Ministry of, from the Ministry of Lands to the County Commissioner then and DC then, telling them to help us enter into the land. Some of our members are in the land, but the most prime part has not yet been occupied, and it is what we have been agitating to find our way to settle in. Also, after the acquisition of the allotment letters in the year 2006, it took around 12 years to 2018 since we got our title. And in the year 2018, once we got the title, the problems then began. Because as soon as we were on our way to surrender for subdivision, the DOD went to the NLC and contested it, and restrictions were imposed on the land then. However, those restrictions were lifted by court orders, and thereafter the DOD, thereafter also the society was issued the status quo orders. While the society went back to farming in the land, the DOD came and uprooted some of those farming inputs that we had, some of the farming produce we had put in the land. Thereafter, we went to court again, suing the DOD for 60 million Kenyan shillings for the illegal uproot of the harvest. And after there, the court issued again another status quo and told the DOD if they want to prove that the land is theirs, let them provide evidence. Until now, the DOD have no evidence, like titles to show that they do own the land. We are the only ones with the titles. Yes. And then, now, since the DOD does not, the rank and file of the DOD are not interested in the land. Obviously, it's just some cartels who are hiding behind the DOD to try and say that the land belongs to the DOD. So, luckily, once this new government came about, an ADR process began. This ADR process, which began, included Chepsilonge 9 farms and also Leseru Tebeson Farmer Society. So there is some land Chepsilonge is claiming which has, for them to get it, needs the Leseru to cede some land to the DOD so that the DOD can settle its case with Leseru. So to be clear, the DOD has two cases, one with Leseru and one with Kiplombe 9 farms. For the Kiplombe 9 farms, for the DOD to settle the Kiplombe 9 farm case, it needs to settle its case with Leseru Tebeson Farmer Society. And during the ADR talks, we complied with all those requirements. However, when it became time to implement, the cartels went and scuttled because they wanted more of the land into the society's piece. Obviously, His Excellency spoke on this matter on January 8th, and part of what he spoke about, the society has no problem with its implementation. The only problem is that the society has to be considered in the way it has to be implemented. And also, for His Excellency to implement that goal of a city in Eldoret there on the land, it needs Leseru to sign off on the consent. And also, Leseru has to merge both and the Leseru has no problem merging with the government to find a solution on that part of the parcel. While for the Kiplombe people, especially Kapungetun, the society has no problem ceding that land so that, and ceding obviously its claim on that part so that Kiplombe 9 farms can settle there. However, the 500 acres on Kapchemoto remains for the society. Hakuna mengi, ni hayo kwa sasa. Oh, yes.
Current officials.
Oh.
You given us the chronology of events since 2006, but there is something like so after you've gone for the alternative dispute resolution, so do you say that the alternative dispute resolution has failed, or has it succeeded so far?
For the society, it has failed because the implementation of what we wanted to be implemented has not yet been implemented.
What were the key decisions made during the alternative dispute?
The key decision was that we were told after that we will be called to sign in once we completed the ADR process. We were told there is going to be at least 2 weeks we were going to be called back to the DOD, whereby Duale was going to chair the meeting, and Honorable Duale was going to witness the signing of the consent between our lawyers, the DOD lawyers, and also Kiplombe and the lawyers, and also the other people in the case, which were the NLC and the ministry. So once we got 2 weeks passed and we were not called after we had submitted the consent. The reason we got later on from the various sources was that there were some cartels there saying, oh, no, Leseru should not be the one ceding land to the DOD. Instead, Leseru are the ones receiving land from the DOD. But all these people failed to understand that DOD had no land to cede to Kiplombe in the first place, or Leseru. The only thing they were ceding was their claim of Leseru's part of the portion. However, for Kiplombe, the DOD had the power to cede to them, because on some part of the acreage, not all parts of the acreage. Oh, and something else, the reason why there is a lot of contestation of this is there is the bypass that has passed over there, and it's 111 acres. Per acre, it's 12 million. So that all of it is 1.3 billion. And that's why most of the cartels are all rounding up and down trying to see that. And obviously, we can't deny the fact that it's a prime part. We are not the only members. There are so many other members, some of them in the land. And but people want genuine ownership. And there are a lot of other people around the place who are going to benefit once this whole process is completed, where the society has their own titles, individual titles for the members, and the place can grow. The city can come up, because once all the monies are released for what the society is owed, then the development is automatic. And for the parts that the government would want, the society has no problem entering into negotiations so that the government can acquire those parts or find any other way, because we respect His Excellency and we would want that it goes very smoothly. And we don't want to even put it out in the media so much, because at the end of the day, this is something that can be done behind. We are only forced to come to this way because the cartels have really denied a chairman who has a history with His Excellency access to him in the best way possible to discuss this thing, which is very simple if discussed between people who understand it, instead of taking interest from other people.
Another members of the press about the ADR. We have been in NLC 3 times under the chairmanship of Commissioner Imutu ya Mombasa, what do we call him? Kasungu Kambi. We sat down in an ADR twice, being represented, there was a DOD man represented. We shook hands. We never got the minutes. I thought we had finished. Do you hear? We were in National Land Commission. No. We were in the National Land Commission, having an ADR. Ambaye we came to a conclusion ya kwamba DOD wachukue yao, sisi tuchukue yetu, ikaisha hapo. We wanted minutes, hatukuona. What happened? Another thing is, government officers they fear the head of state. Hawaambii ukweli, Your Excellency, they are not telling you the truth. Wanajificha na wanakuogopa.
Kwa hisani ya wale watu waelewi nini iliendelea kuanzia, maybe utuambie, kuna watu wanafikiri nyinyi ndio mnafanyia chama ya jeshi. Utueleze tu kwa kifupi.
Shamba ya kwanza tulienda kwa mzungu. The land belonged to Alexander Douglas. No, before Alexander Douglas, the land belonged to Nandis. There was no title. Ilikuwa ya ancestors wetu until our parents were pushed to Nandi. So the Mzungu, the first Mzungu to be given that land for 9 years, that is what the title reads. Ilikuwa Alexander Douglas and some few wazungu ambaye Alexander Douglas alichukua kutoka kwao. So I was teaching in this part of the world at kwa shule naitwa Seyot Primary School. I was posted as the headmaster to begin establishing the school. I think the president by then was in university. So I used to see mzungu akija na ndege anasuka hapa airfield. Until one time I said, what is this mzungu doing here? Kuna mzee mmoja alikuwa kamiti yangu, nikamwambia wakati mzungu anakuja, he used to come every month to pay salary for workers yake. So tukaenda na mzee, tukakuja na mzungu, tukakaa kwa nyumba yake hapo Maili Tisa hapo. Niliwacha shule siku hiyo. Nikamuuliza, jeshi imechukua shamba. Jeshi kulikuwa kuna hema moja tu. Hapo tu. The land capped like this. Ikienda Kitale. Ni Maili Tisa tu hapo. There were 2 askaris. So they used to tell me, come in the afternoons, ukichunga ng'ombe hapa tukae. Tukakaa kwa hema, walikuwa na hema mbili. Saa ingine wananipa soda na kunywa. Basi alafu mzungu akaniambia baba yake bado iko anaitwa David Neville Craig Isiolo. Akasema kuja Isiolo. Isiolo, kufika Isiolo akaniambia, I'll give you, there is land here, it will remain. Military ikachukua ile ika remain. That is Kaptich land. Akanipa hiyo Kaptich. Tukasanya pesa kwa lawyer hapa. When we were in the process, akasema mzungu ameitwa State House. Shamba akapatiwa Chelanga. Kamuja mwanota krogi. Where the injustice began. Wakaenda na shamba yao, wakachukua hiyo shamba yetu hiyo ya Kaptich. Bibi ya Kipchoge iko huko. Wakakatakatia watu wengine ambaye walijuana na hii watu, wakatupa sisi nje. Tukastaki serikali kulipa manyumba, walivunja sababu Chelanga alikuja na askari na kuvunja nyumba zetu. The government paid 3.8 million, nikakawanyia watu walikuwa wamejenga manyumba yao. Hiyo shamba nikapeleka pato ngali iko kwa Court of Appeal number Court of Appeal 1745, sijui when. Nimewacha hapo. That is how it began. Kuingia kwangu, nikarudi kwa mzungu nikamwambia ile shamba imeenda. Akasema, akaita mzee anaitwa Arab Kemei. Arab Kemei, kuja. Nilala kwake Isiolo. Kuja, enda na huyu mzee iko shamba yangu ilipaki 500 acres. Akasema surveyor yangu aliuawa kule Spring Valley. Sasa record ziko kwa ngine naitwa Haim and Simalin. Hapo tu kwa Spring Valley hapo mbele, hii Kapete sijui hapa Kapete Maloa. Hapo tu. Mzungu akauawa kupoteza boundaries. Hatujui ni nani aliua. We don't know, it is mambo ya security. Akaniambia enda deal with the government, waonyeshe wewe ile mpaka zao. This is when I came back to deal with the President Kibaki. Mnasikia? So yule DC alichukua shamba ya Kaptich. Mungu akamaliza yeye Marsabit kwa ndege. Wale walikonga mimi kwa Kabeskin walipelekwa na sanduku wakasikwa. We don't know what will happen with this one. God knows.
Bas, in conclusion, tuambie nyinyi mnataka haki, nyinyi ni legal owners wa shamba, nini inaonyesha? Ya pili, how many members mko wangapi yenye still bado mnataka hii haki?
Hiyo 30 million members.
Na mlilipa shilingi ngapi kwa shamba?
Iko share zao.
Iko share. Sasa utueleze hiyo na tufunge chapter.
Ni watu 400. Nafikiri 500 as at now. But we shall review the
20. How much?
We paid
26.
Paid how much?
26 around nearly 26 million.
Answer.
Members yetu
400.
ni 400. Lakini pamoja na watoto, unajua watoto wamekuwa wakubwa since 2006. So we shall do another review tuone ni wangapi wote. Tukalipa pesa, tukalipa Can you add this?
Yes, they are 26, are approximately 26 million.
Tukalipa hii kitu hii rent yetu hii.
Tumelipa rent.
Survey tulilipa 13 million. We conducted a private survey tukapata 13 million.
Every year we have paid 700.
Singine ya serikali we paid 400 and something thousand ya
Land clearance.
clearance nini. Land clearance is 7 million. Rent, inaitwa rent.
We have
Ni land rent.
Rent
We call it.
certificate is there.
Yeah.
Iko mnyuma hapo.
We have the titles. We have land clearance certificates. We have letter ambayo ilipatia sisi go ahead for subdivision. We have hii kitu ingine hii.
deed plan.
This one here. Inaitwa search. Haiko hapa? We have the search ambayo it is computerized. That is our land.
Official is done.
Na hata iko officials hapa. The society is not a Mungiki organization. It is registered with the Attorney General.
Peter.
So the titles wako naye. They told us, they wrote a letter to us, Chief Registrar, aliambia sisi lete mukatekate shamba yenu. Kufika huko wale interested parties wakakanyi surrender for subdivision. Ona, munaona hiyo kwa red nini? That is what is in the green book ya titles huko.
Now that's when they all most have.
So it is stuck here, no process. Okole. Yes. Munaona? Hata mupige picha.
Network.
This is our title and their titles. Mambo ya Kiblombe hatujui. The government knows.
So
Na iko stroke R. If they don't want stroke R, wapatie watu wengine.
So the current officials, the
Current
chairman
officials.
is Wilson Tao, we chairman. I'm the secretary. I'm Fred Kiriongi Torore,
Senior chief.
and then is a senior chief, retired Stephen Medley. So those are the current officials running the society. Thank you so much.
We are senior citizens. I taught for 34 years.
You retired in
Because I retired in 2000. We went with Moy home.
2000.
2002. After serving this country as a teacher for 34 years, and then 16 years chairman of AIC Chepsilonge Secondary School for 16 years. So I've served this country half a century. Half a century. Torore has been a principal in various secondary schools, chief principal. Senior chief, nasikia mtu wa administration. We are people of integrity.
For 29 years.
Watu wanasema wakora wako. We sisi hapana wakora. We are citizens of this country.
Thank you so much.
Let me just clarify two things quickly. I think we've all understood the history of how the land came about, but to clarify, why did the talks at the ADR collapse? The reason is there are people there misleading the presidency that our titles were cancelled, which is far from the truth. And the reality is there is no court order showing anything like that. Rather, there are documents from our end showing that they are within the Ministry of Lands after we successfully surrendered them inside there for the individual subdivision of our members. Something else to clarify, we have receipts from the national government showing how we acquired them in the year 2006 to the year 2018, how we actually got the title. In between there are so many government letters of which we've handed to the media these books to do their own investigation and to even find out more. How we have how there have been many numerous letters from the Ministry of, from even the Office of the Presidency back in the year 2005 to the year 2018, showing that the land was ours and urging the administration here to support us into our entry. Good thing is some of our members are there, not all obviously, but we would love to enter in an organized manner whereby every member gets his own share fairly and decently. And also we have no problem with any other government necessity inside the land as a public utility, that the society is ready to engage the government so as to find that solution whereby the government needs, if it needs any land inside, they can approach the society in the legal framework. We are really thankful for the media, for the Fourth Estate, for covering this event, and obviously we need to do more to highlight more of this injustice and to highlight also the solution, which is, we believe it's going to happen. Thank you again. Any question? Sasha.